Time for another Soccer Down Here 1v1. And for this, we go to Memphis and catch up with Memphis 901FC's Phillip Goodrum. Yes, it's that familiar Phillip Goodrum for those of you in the Atlanta footprint that might remember his time with Atlanta United too, but he is chasing after the Golden Boot race. And we figured what we would do is we would catch up with Phillip and get an update with his time in the 901. Phillip, thanks for hanging out with us for a 1v1.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
All right, so if I had told you at the beginning of the year that you would be chasing 20 goals in a season in USL Championship, what would you have told me?
I would have probably thought you were crazy, like a lot of other people around the league, but I would have said it's something that I'm more than capable of.
When you look at the off season and heading into this year, I guess this is a two-part question. What do you think you needed to work on in your game to continue to improve it, to get it to where you need it to be? And what has it been like to see your game get to this point in the USL Championship?
Yeah, I mean, coming off of last year at Atlanta, I knew I needed to improve on some things kind of physically and just in that attacking final third. But I think the biggest thing for me was going to be confidence. And, into last year, I had an injury. I wasn't really selected by the coach for many starting spots in the twos at Atlanta. And so coming into this off season, it was just about finding a club and a coach that really believed in me. And so I found that in Memphis. And, it wasn't like there was clubs coming left and right. Like, man, we have to have you here. We have to have you be our starting striker. And so when Memphis came along and I talked with Ben Pierman and the club about the opportunity to come join here and be kind of one of the focal points of the attack, it was like, I got to take that chance for my career and go to Memphis and see what I can really do.
When you look at Ben Pierman, what has it been like to be under his tutelage there at Memphis 901? He's a guy that's been one of those coaches in the lower divisions up in Michigan, had success. A lot of folks might have been who didn't know his success, might have been surprised by his appointment when it was appointed at Memphis 901. What's it been like to learn under Ben Pierman, and how would you describe him stylistically and philosophically?
Yeah, playing for Ben has been amazing. I mean, coming in, he's a young guy, he's an American guy, and he's given me a lot of trust and a lot of confidence. And so playing for him, he loves to play high pressure. He loves an energetic style. And for me as a player, that's exactly what I like to do. And so, coming in, he put me in a position in preseason where he was like, I want you to go for it. I want you to go, just do your thing. I'm not going to give you a lot of rules. I'm not going to give you, this is what I want to see out of you. This is what I don't want to. He's like, go be yourself. And so he gave me that freedom to go and kind of grow as a player into my role and into my style. And he did that with everybody else around the team. And so I went in there and really gained confidence. And then about 2 weeks into the season, he said, look, you're a very good striker in this league, but I want to take you to be an elite one. And so here's some things I want you to work on. Here's some things I want the assistant coach to work on with you. And so we really just hammered away at those little tiny details that could make me and the team 1% better. And he's just given me so much confidence and allowed me to kind of take my game to that next level. But Ben's a fantastic coach. I don't have enough good things to say about him.
What's it like to be a striker and not have to think and just do? I mean, it sounds like this combination of Yoda and just kind of letting things fly out there. But how difficult is it to just not think? Because obviously there are times when strikers press and they want to get the results because of the anticipation and everything that's the responsibility that's put on them. But how difficult is it not to think and just do and be successful these days?
It's a lot easier now than it has been in my past career. I feel like I have the same kind of freedom that I had when I was playing in college and having a lot of success. But we always talk about when we're out of possession, I should be in the best position to go score a goal. And so it's been something that I'd had to kind of learn and get used to. But now it's really easy to kind of just not think about everything or overthink about it and just do it. And so with myself and the other guys in our group, it flows naturally. And that's the best type of soccer you want to see, the natural flowing stuff and everybody interchanging and working for one common goal.
How long did it take to get that rhythm out there for you and for everybody else that's putting the ball in the back of the net? Because chemistry isn't an instant thing. It's not like coffee that you put in a coffee maker. How long did it take, or is it still, even with a handful of matches to go in the regular season, is it still something that has to have tweaks here and there?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at our season, the first game of the year, we played Pittsburgh Riverhounds at home and lost 3-0. And I missed the PK. We had a player get a red card. It in no way, shape, or form was something that was just instantly like, boom, this is going to be a great team. This is going to be a title contender. So it's nothing like that. It formed over time, and it formed from the bond, I think, with it we had in our locker room with players from the beginning. And so it's something that is, the thing I'll tell you about Memphis is everybody here has a story. Everybody here has been kind of like rejected by a bigger club, by an MLS club in some shape or form, or moved on and kind of told no a lot of times because it's a lower budget club. But what we've kind of had here that's unique is we've been able to all come together and kind of fight it for a common cause of, hey, let's go out here, let's work our tails off together, let's press super high, let's show teams our brand of soccer. And then in the end, it's going to work out for everybody else because the individual goals, assists, shutouts, that'll all roll together. But I wouldn't say there was one point where we were like, man, this is going to be a special group. But over time, we've just kind of looked around and we're like, what we've got here is important and it could be special. So let's just keep building on that. And that's something that we work on every single day to keep building.
And I mean, if you look at it, just a sampling of the stories, I mean, up top, it's you, Dave Egbo, Derek Dodson, a kid. And I say that because he's not quite 21, and Knight of Pickering is your forwards. You know, you look at what life is like in the midfield, and there's some familiar faces there. You've got Aaron Malloy, Chris Allen, who a lot of folks in Atlanta remember, Luis Fernando, Laurent Kisiadou, Les Paul, and that has never escaped. The irony of Les Paul playing in Memphis has never escaped me. You know, you got a guy like Hendwala Bwana who's had impact, across the freeway in the middle of the state. And so you're right. There's a lot of different stories that are attached here. You know, in the defense, it's Zach Carroll, who's a vet, Segrist, Niall Logue, Reese Buckmaster, who was, you mentioned, being in other places. Buckmaster was a part of the Red Bull system, and now he's a part of Memphis. And so it is a lot of different stories that have combined into this one roux, where Memphis right now is you're chasing the top spot in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, and I think that's just a credit to Ben Pierman and the other coaches and sporting directors at Memphis who have gone out and said, look, we don't have all the money in the world, but we're not the biggest club in the world, but we can go find a certain type of player that's willing to go out there and work their tail off, but also has a certain amount of quality. And so it's a credit to the club and it's a credit to Ben, because he's gone out and he's really built something special. And while he's done that, he's also brought everybody together behind a common goal. And, every single player on our team would run through a wall for Ben. And that's not something that you find at every single club. And so he just turned, I think, 36 or 37 the other day. He's a young, relatable coach, and he's American. So it's great to see that in this league and in this country. You see coaches like him that are growing. And so I'm just happy to be a part of it and help the club out and see if we can go do something special and win something here.
Well, and at the same time, you mentioned having a coach who's in his mid-30s, who in some cases on that roster might just be a couple of years older than some of the guys, and can still relate to those that are just out of college, that have been taken a couple of years out of college, like yourself and a couple of other guys. And so I think that there are some situations where it can be a benefit, where you have that guy where you can sit there and have that casual conversation. You can drop a movie reference. You can sit there and say, yeah. And, those kinds of things. And the coach gets it. And at the same time, he can have those same kind of professional conversations with you, because it wasn't that long ago that he was chasing after those same things on the calendar that you were.
No, you're right. And the other thing is something we have here that you don't see everywhere is a lot of ex-college soccer players. And I think as the college soccer games becoming, maybe a little bit more insignificant in the grand scheme of pro soccer in America as MLS grows and USL grows, Ben is kind of trusted in the guys who've played college soccer and have grown in that. When you look into our lineup and then our 18, we have a good amount of depth. And Ben's coached at Michigan State, and he's recognized the value in college soccer and what it can help to produce good professional soccer players in this country. And so it's great to have somebody who's relatable, but also somebody who we all respect and is very well respected around the league and the country.
What did your time at UNC Wilmington mean to you?
Oh, it was awesome. We got after we played the twos in Atlanta last week, we got 4 days off, and I said I'm going straight back to Wilmington to enjoy a little time at the beach and just be around that team and that culture. So it was fantastic. UNCW, like Atlanta and like Memphis, are a team that put a lot of trust in me and took a chance on me when others wouldn't. And so I'm forever grateful there. And it really helped me go from being kind of not as confident, not as sure about myself, young 18, 19-year-old, to coming out and being like, okay, I can win Conference Player of the Year. I can be one of the top prospects in the country and go get drafted. And so eternally grateful to UNCW, and I had a great time for those 4 years. I got a great business education, and obviously soccer worked out pretty well there. So loved my time there.
When you think about yourself and your career and the time that you've spent with UNCW and going back and giving back to school and being a part of that environment, how much of a role model do you consider yourself to be, even though you've been a professional only for a handful of years?
Oh, I mean, I don't consider myself to be that much like a role model to those guys. I love kind of guiding them, and if they ever need a call, need to jump on a call and get some guidance, whether it be soccer, school, or just life, I'm always happy to do that. But it's fun to go and give back and see kind of what me and my teammates from my years there built, because we talked about legacy a lot when I was student athlete there. And so we wanted to leave it better than we found it and feel like we did that. And so I just want to encourage all the guys there to, go and do the same thing and have a great time, but really see if they can do something special, win a conference title, go and make a run in the NCAA tournament. So it's fun to go see all the guys there building on that legacy that we built during my time.
For those that don't know the soccer footprint and the environment there in Memphis, how would you break down what soccer means to that part of the Southeast? Because it's not just Memphis, it's not just West Tennessee, it's Eastern Arkansas, it's Northern Mississippi. There are a lot of other sets of folks that you can impress upon with what you're doing there at Memphis 901. What's the footprint like for somebody who's never been there to see it?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's growing a lot in a town where has been focused on the Grizzlies, has been focused on high school and University of Memphis football and baseball. And so it's something that's new, but it's growing and people are becoming ever more passionate about it. We have Bluff City Mafia, our supporters group, and it's fun to see those guys like out around town or at a bar, because they're 100% into this club. And they're 100% bought into Ben Pierman's ideals and the club's ideals. So it's fun. And then we had a 2-week gap this year where we stopped practicing in Memphis. We actually went over to Mississippi and we did community outreach, and we had an open practice where a ton of the families and kids and local high school players from that area came out to kind of grow the Memphis brand. And it was interesting to see people who didn't know much about soccer, but were like, hey, we've heard about this 901FC. We've heard about soccer growing down here. And so let's go check it out. And we just all stuck around for about half an hour after, literally just passing around with the kids, talking with the families. And it's interesting to see how it's growing, because being a kid from the South, I love seeing just how soccer is growing down here. And I know it's the sky's the limit.
Phillip Goodrum, Memphis 901FC, hanging out with us for another couple of minutes on a Soccer Down Here 1v1 as he is chasing after Milan Iloski and the Golden Boot, one behind with a handful of matches to go. All right, let's get into soccer talk here. Next one out of the blocks. You've got 5 matches remaining in the regular season. Next one, I've heard, the little birdie has told me that this one's relatively important. It's only 1 versus 2 in the Eastern Conference with Lou City. And Lou City right now 5 points ahead of Memphis 901 as you come screaming toward the end of the regular season. What has study hall been like getting ready for this one? How much study hall has there been as you and I are starting to talk here early part of the week? And when you see Lou City, what do you see in a club?
Yeah, it's a huge one. We all know it's big, and we know we think we know what to expect going in there. We feel like we owe them some points from last time they visited us in Memphis. It was a 2-1 game that we lost, and we're up in the 70th minute 1-0. And then there was 3 red cards in the game. It was nuts. But there, Louisville City, there's not many USL clubs I respect more because they do things right. They run the show in a sense in this league for the last few years. They've done well, and so we want to go in there and we're expecting to win. We're going to go fight for everything we've got because we know what's at stake here, and I'm excited. The boys around me are excited, and we're just ready to go in and see what we can do, see what we're made of on Friday.
When you look at Lou City, they are one of the markers of what folks can be in USL Championship. They've got their own stadium. They're packing the place out, chasing after championships consistently. They're investing in veteran teams, and I think that this, to your point about what we've been having here in this conversation, it's Lou City is building their things one way. Memphis 901 is building their things in their way. And I think that it's an interesting contrast in philosophies with the folks that are on each roster. And I think that it brings that extra level of energy that's attached to it because of how you say with Memphis 901, it's guys with something to prove for various reasons. It's not a larger budget team. Lou City is sitting there and they're getting transfer fees with players that they're sending out, and they've got all these veterans. It's an interesting contrast with what we're going to be seeing here with you and Lou City coming up on Football Friday.
Yeah, it is. And so, it's a small world, soccer. We know the players on their team. They know us, and we don't like them too much. They don't like us, but yeah, they do things right. And I love being a part of 901FC here. I think Memphis is doing things great, and they're a new club, but we've always got something to prove. And like I said, I feel like we owe them a few points, so I'm really excited for it. I know there's going to be a lot of eyes on the game, and I'm sure it's going to be a close to sellout crowd there at their nice stadium. So I couldn't be more excited for this one.
5 matches left after this, heading into Football Friday. You're at Lou City. You're at the Miami FC. That's as they like to frame down there in Boca. They're not a Miami FC. They're the Miami FC. Then you've got you've got your 2 home matches coming up, and it's interesting. It's 3 matches in 8 days. You're at Boca to take on the Miami FC. Then you've got RGV in the midweek. Then you've got Red Bulls 2. You finish away on October 15th at Tulsa. When you get to this particular part of the season, how do you manage being as sharp physically as you can? Because it's been a long year. You got 29 matches in the can, plus everything else that's going on, and you've got less than 3 weeks left in a season and a lot of games that mean a bunch of different things. How are you physically, and how have you managed it so far?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I mean, unfortunately, last year I had a ton of injuries, and I couldn't get over little nagging ones, and it was frustrating. But I've been blessed this year. I feel great. My body feels great. Obviously, there's a few here or there on the team, but it's more about, for me, the mental side of just staying locked in and consistent every single game. And so I love it. I get to live the dream playing professional soccer. So I can't complain. I'll keep my body as good as I can and just keep battling away, and hopefully everything else takes care of itself.
Last question for you. What does Phillip Goodrum have to do to smash a guitar?
I don't know. Probably get suspended for a game, because usually the people on the side. So hopefully I don't get to do that. I've already been suspended 1 game this season for yellows, but no, the guitar smash is pretty awesome. It's something you're always standing in the lineup, trying to stay focused for the game. you see somebody just throwing a guitar around. So it's a cool tradition that I like here.
And make sure that you have less than Paul smash a guitar and have irony on top of irony.
There you go.
Phillip Goodrum chasing after the Golden Boot up top for Memphis 901 FC. Thanks for putting up with a bunch of silly questions as you're getting ready for Football Friday and a big matchup against Louisville. Thanks for hanging out for a Soccer Down Here 1v1. We'll be keeping an eye on everything for the last handful of matches here in the season. Good luck the rest of the way. Stay healthy. Keep chasing. We'll be keeping an eye.
Thank you.